Welcome back to the garage. I'm Derek. Let's get into this. So it's been a while. I got a couple videos filmed, just haven't uploaded or done anything in 2 months. So I want to catch you up on what's coming in, what's to do, what's to don't, whatever. But today we have an entire brake kit, brake lines. So I worked with a company called Finishing Lines. Josh over there has been great to work with, and what we did for my car is I measured everything how I want it spec'd for my car, and we got everything pre-cut, pre-fit, all ready to go for this car. So what I want to show you, so we have out of the master into the bias valve for the rear, and then the other, so then the out will go to the handbrake. Then we have out for the master for the front, so we tee off to go to the front. We have front from fitting to front calipers. We have bulkhead adjustments, so the line that goes from the bias valve through the bulkhead with the bulkhead fitting. We have the length to the handbrake with banjo fittings, and then everything to go from the handbrake to the T, and then through the floor to the calipers, and then caliper lines. So everything is made to fit. I'm going to get some great images so that he can put this on his website and show off E36s, get a product line out for him, as well as now I got a sweet ass kit for my car. So this is going to be sweet. So he also sent over some mounts, one of his handbrakes. So I'm going to put this in to show off what it looks like in the pull back position, because I'm doing pull up. So he sent over some extra lines just so I can mount that up and get some images, stock images for him to put on the website for both options. So pretty cool. So I'm going to probably prop you up and do a time lapse of getting it installed in the front and then installed in the back. So one thing, I don't have this side in yet, but I'm going to have this side all mounted up so I can at least show one side with the caliper and the line in, get some decent images so that he can have something on his website. So let's get to it. Alright guys, we're switching to voiceover. So to kind of start the install, what I did was just got everything open, laid a little bit out on the table, and then started working through it. So the biggest thing I ran into first was trying to figure out how I wanted to orientate that hard line with the bias valve. So I tried different configurations. I tried going under the master, tried going towards the driver's side fender, tried without the hard line. So I was trying to just play around with it a little bit. And then there was a couple things like I had a banjo or a straight fitting. So I was just kind of messing with it quite a bit. And so as you kind of see, I was kind of playing around with that. And then once I figured that out, I wanted to drill the hole through the firewall plate that I made quite a while ago. So as you can see there, I'm going back and forth trying to get that hole put together, and started working on getting the line from the bias valve through the firewall. So that's what I started working on. You can see I'm starting to play with a little bit of different fittings, trying different things, whatnot. So working through that, and then shortly after this, I start working on the front side of this stuff. So yeah, biggest thing with this kit was I measured it to fit what I had in mind. There was probably a little bit of extra line for this that probably wasn't necessarily needed, but I really wanted it for to give me some slack. Depends on when or if I want to rerun in different configurations based on some unknown things down the line with the build. So like if I want to change up how I'm running my wiring or whatnot, so those things I can change. So there you go. I'm kind of working through it right now. The bias valve is facing basically like the passenger front corner. But you'll see later in the video I ended up changing it again based after I had a nice FaceTime call with the owner of Finishing Lines. Josh, FaceTimed me or video chatted, and he had a good idea. And that's what you'll see towards the end of the video of the final product of how I orientated the hard line and then the bias valve. So right here you can see I'm messing with the two lines that go into the fender wells for the front lines. I do want to get some nice P-clamps, and then I'm going to start drilling holes to riv nut to final install these. Right now I just found different areas on the fenders to zip tie them up. So it is what it is for now. I do plan to take this out, all these out again, while I do some of the other build out of the car. So this is only dry fitting and whatnot. So right here you can see I'm working on the fender well. There were some different things going on there, but I ended up getting it to work. Moving into the interior, so I already had my handbrake mounted, or roughly mounted in place where I wanted it. It's not fully mounted. I haven't finish welded the plate to from the handbrake to the bolt-in plate that I have there, but it holds it in the location that I'm going to keep it in, and that's what I wanted. So as I'm prepping the lines on the bench, I was kind of getting all the banjo fittings figured out. I'll work on removing the ones that are in the master that came with the handbrake. I wanted to get those ones out so that I could use the ones that came with the kit, and those ones are a little bit nicer, and they're nice black anodized parts. So there's two lines that I'll have here. One that goes from the bulkhead to the rear fitting, and then there's the line that I'm installing now that runs to the back of the car, and that tees out and runs to the rear wheels. So nice fittings. It fits right really snug to along the tunnel there, and I'll run it, get some P-clamps and riv nut, make a nice position or spot for those to go. The line that comes from the firewall, it does have a 90 into the handbrake, which is going to be really nice so that when I do put the center console over it, that line can tuck that nicely in there. So, and then the easy one up to the front, I decided to go over the steering column just to keep it out of the way of my feet. And then there's some provisions that were, from the chassis wiring or not. I can just do a quick zip tie and keep all that out of the way. There's no reason to put any riv nuts or P-clamps or anything in that aspect. So that was a pretty straightforward install. So yeah, and then shortly here, this is when I had to stop videoing because Josh was actually hitting me up on the phone. So I stopped my install and we had a quick chat, and then that kind of ended my night. So there is more to this install that'll come up, but that hopefully I'll have that video together in the in the coming days. Alright, I'm going to end this video out here. There's going to be a part 2 to this for the back half, but I want to show you what it all looks like. So, what we got here, front line drops down to a T and then goes left and right, the passenger driver. Rear line, hard line down, bias valve right here, and then to the bulkhead. I was playing with which position I wanted. I might switch it back to the bottom one. I don't know. Depending on how I do wiring, maybe I'll leave this for the wiring. Wiring will come up through the line. Might be kind of cool. We'll see. Whatnot. So yeah, that's all good. Right now I just have it zip tied just to kind of hold it in place, but there's the T, comes across. It'll drop down. I'm gonna get some better clips, P-clips and whatnot to hold this, but comes over, does a 120 to that, and then the caliper line, whatnot. I gotta get some grommets for in here, but it has all the length needed for this, so pretty stoked on this. So you can go away, plenty of length for everything. So yeah, all this is dry fit. It's all loose. So if you want to look interior, so the line goes over the steering column and then over the pedals and then back to the firewall, comes down 90s into the chase base handbrake, the rear, and the rear line's gonna go. So second video we'll be doing the rear half, whatnot. So pretty sweet. I'm pretty excited how it went, how it goes. Yeah, so stay tuned for more. Have a good day.